I'm Doug Massi, and today I'm going to be covering my exact recommendations for new agents who are selling face-to-face, including whether to call your leads and set appointments versus just like door knocking all your leads, the type of leads that you should probably start working, dealing with gated communities and condominiums, and the best way to cut through the learning curve like really fast. And guys, this is when I'm going to ask to please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. And if you hang around until the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to get the appointment setting super file, which has my scripts on setting appointments from like different kinds of final expense leads, and it even shows you the correct way to overcome objections while calling to set your final expense face-to-face appointments. So let's just start out with having a conversation about leads. And let me just say, if you were one of the agents that I was mentoring and working with, I would most likely suggest that you start out by running either Facebook or Google ad leads. The reason that I like Google ad and Facebook ad leads for brand new agents is that they are, one, very cost effective, and two, unlike with direct mail leads, you can order these things by like the batch. Yeah guys, direct mail leads are king for like belly-to-belly sales. However, in order to get onto a good fixed cost direct mail leads program, you have to put up a security deposit, and you need to commit to basically buying leads for several weeks and potentially months worth of leads. Now, since I have no idea what your work ethic is like, or if like even the areas that you're selling in are even doable, because let's just say, guys, most states aren't very lucrative for face-to-face sales nowadays. And the last thing I will do for most agents is try to convince them to commit like thousands of dollars towards a fixed cost direct mail leads program unless the agent has already sold final expense in those areas, you know, that they'll be working, and they absolutely know what to do. With Facebook leads, you can order a fresh batch every week, call through them like several times to set appointments, do some door knocking, and then you can decide if this is actually a market that you can actually work in or not. I mean, it's not for everybody, guys. Check this out. I once had an agent that did a ride-along with me who saw me take, it had to be at least 6 or 7 applications in one day. And I remember it was like over $5,000 in annualized premium. Only to tell me afterwards that some of the houses were a little too dirty and that she really couldn't sell final expense if that's how it was. She decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna pass. Guys, the bottom line is that this business is not for everyone. No, well, let me reword that. Face-to-face final expense sales is not for most people. Imagine if the lady that did the ride-along with me had put in an order for weekly direct mail leads. She could have easily been stuck with $3,000 or $4,000 in leads, you know, that she probably wouldn't have even worked. And then I would have gotten the phone call where she asks if, you know, I have an agent that wants to buy all of her leads. First, we want to get you out in the field selling as soon as your first contracts come through. With Facebook or Google leads, you'll start cutting through your learning curve with a cheap lead. That way you're not blowing any sales from like the $35 or $40 direct mail leads. And then after a few weeks of being in the field, you'll want to put in an order for your weekly fixed cost direct mail leads. By the time they start coming back, which is usually around, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks, you'll already be through part of your learning curve and should have your groove totally on. Let's assume that your very first Google or Facebook leads have started to come in, right? The question is, should you call them to set appointments from them first and then door knock in between appointments, or should you just go out and door knock all of them? First off, just to be clear, for you to be successful at selling final expense, you know, face-to-face, you will have to become a master. I mean, I'm talking like amazing at the art of door knocking. During our first several weeks, my wife, Mariana, and I 100% door knocked all of our leads. And that's because we were told to do this, so that's what we did. However, I do believe that there's nothing wrong with calling your leads right from the start. Just don't make the mistake of leaving your house to go to an appointment or two and then go back home. This is mainly a door knocking game, guys, so if you only have a couple of appointments, you're still going to want to start door knocking on doors early in the morning, and you're not going to want to go home until maybe late in the afternoon or when the sun goes down. You don't have a chance to make it at face-to-face sales unless you work in the field all day long on your field days. And we're talking no halvesy days either. If you are working like Google or Facebook leads, it's totally cool to start calling them as soon as they come in. Even if you don't do very well on the phone, at setting the appointments, at least they're not costing you very much. I mean, they shouldn't be costing you more than like 15 bucks each, so it's not like you're blowing expensive leads. It's entirely up to you though, and I say that because I don't know you personally and I'm not working with or mentoring you. If that were the case and we were working together, I would be giving you specific advice based on what I know about you and your background, your finances, and the areas, that you're selling final expense insurance in. Here's your pro tip for the day. The shelf life on an internet lead is just not very good, guys. So I suggest either getting them on the phone or door knocking these leads within like 24 to 48 hours. Waiting 2 weeks for your Google or Facebook leads to accumulate and then to go out and start selling is going to be a big fail. For direct mail leads, you can start calling them right off the bat too, if you like. Only here's the cool thing. The shelf life is usually there for months and months. I mean, think about it. When door knocking the direct mail lead cards, you can show the prospect the card and their handwriting that's on it. So it's not like they can deny that they filled the dang thing out, right? The issue with direct mail is that they are around 3 times the price of the internet leads. And unless you're, getting at least, honestly guys, at least 30 direct mail leads every single week, you might just be better off door knocking them anyway. I mean, think about it. 30 leads per week is, in my opinion, barely enough leads to keep a decent agent busy. A full-time door knocker can easily hit 30 doors each day, and by like the 3rd day working a batch of brand new leads, you'll have already met with and presented to most of your 30 leads. And now you're just kind of like chasing, the ones that are never home or are like, jerking you around. So yeah, it's cool to call your leads and set appointments like right from the start. And I want you to think about this too. Even if you do get hung up on, or the prospects give you like excuses as to why they don't want to take an appointment, you can still take the lead card and take it right to the client's front door and door knock it, like the following week. Here's how I see it. They filled out the card or the form, right? And you actually paid good hard-earned money for that lead. Come on guys, it's your job to do whatever you've got to do in order to get in front of that prospect and get in your sales presentation. The direct mail lead is not dead until the client either buys from you or kicks you off their property. So how the heck do you deal with gated communities and condominiums? Well, you don't. That's how. When you order your leads, do some basic research and simply ask the lead vendors to remove the zip codes that you want to avoid. Now, I'm avoiding zip codes with like multiple gated communities or even condominiums in them. I mean, why try to fight my way into something that can be avoided, right? Trust me, you're fighting a losing battle if you do that. Let's talk about getting through that learning curve like as soon as humanly possible. First, I'm going to tell you how not to get through the learning curve. Then I'll get into the best way possible to cut through it so that you can become like a pro at final expense sales immediately. If you want to fail at this business and never get through the learning curve, and don't get mad at me, I'm just sharing my experience having worked with hundreds of agents, literally. Well, here's what you do. Work part-time, work halvesy days, or better yet, only go to appointments that you've set up. You'll never get through the learning curve and will most likely quit like within a couple of weeks. It's the truth, guys. I can't tell you how many agents fail out of our industry because they don't put in the time and effort to learn the business like right from the start. Oh, even better, buy an order of 20 leads and see how you do. Did I do that right? See how you do. Fail. Without commitment, you really don't have a chance at our business. On the other hand, if you want to cut through the learning curve, which means you might actually be very successful at final expense sales, commit to at least, I want to say like 30 to 40 direct mail leads each week. And if you're working internet leads, make sure you have at least 50 of them every week for at least the first few months. Think about it. When you work a full-time job, you're on that job for at least 40 to 50 hours, right? Would it be any different when learning a brand new sales business in a market that's kind of new to you? Spend at least 6 to 8 hours calling to set appointments during your phone days, if you're going to call the leads at all. And on your field days, you need to be out running leads, door knocking, whatever you're doing for at least, I want to say 8 to maybe 10 hours on those field days. If you're just door knocking, and you're not setting any appointments at all, you need to be out door knocking like 5 days a week for at least 8 to 10 hours per day. Now, instead of taking forever to cut through the learning curve, you're going to get better and better every day, every presentation, and every week. By the time you're into, like, I want to say maybe your second month of running leads, the wheels will be lubricated and you'll be a much better agent than you were like your first month. You should be a master at the art of door knocking by then, and a final expense pro within, I want to say, just a couple of months. Allow me to give some additional advice on door knocking leads and appointment setting. When door knocking your leads, 1, make sure to door knock the people who aren't home in the morning, again in the afternoon, and if they're not home in the afternoon, door knock them like again, early in the evening. Some folks, even some of our older seniors, are active and do actually work. 2, be brief and do not mention the words life insurance. When they answer the door, say something like, "Hi Margie, you filled out this little form and sent it into my office about this special final expense benefits for Social Security recipients. We've been trying to reach you. Where can we sit down for just a minute so I can take care of this for you really quick?" And 3, when the prospect gives you an excuse as to why you can't come in right now, whatever the excuse, avoid setting an appointment at the door unless you don't think your time is very valuable. Look, when they start with that chasing me away and like the come back later nonsense, I'm telling them something like, "Margie, I don't live near here, and instead of going back and forth, I'm just going to give you the short version really quick. It'll just take a few minutes. Where can we sit down?" When you call to set appointments, 1, make sure to use an appointment setting script that other successful agents use. Now, if you're using mine, do not change a single word, guys. And 2, record yourself assuming you didn't just contract with like some marketer and you are actually being trained by a pro like me with years of experience of being a top producer. Record yourself while setting appointments and send the recording to your mentor, your upline. Ask them what you can do to get stronger on the phone. For a copy of the appointment setting super file that I mentioned earlier in the video, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. If you'd like more information on working with me and learning how to be like the best you can be, just shoot me an email at that same address. Remember guys, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.